Hello everyone and welcome to It's Just More Than a Race. I'm Ron Gollnick and to my left is Randal Smith, and for the next hour we're going to be bringing you the 5th annual Azalea Trail Run. We're sitting at the finish line, Randal and I, at the intersections of Jackson and Claiborne Street, but over on Claiborne and Government Street we're going to show you what it looks like. There's about 4,072 runners there as they prepare for today's 5th annual Azalea Trail Run, and after worrying about it all week long, the weather turned out to be pretty good, didn't it, Randal?
It's a good day to run today. Temperature right now 61 degrees. As you can see, the rain held off on us, which they were predicting 90% chance of rain, and so far I haven't seen any out here since we've been here this morning. Temperature is expected to rise to about 69 degrees. The rainfall, when we checked color radar just a few minutes ago, was far to the west of us. The closest point was Alexandria, Louisiana. So it looks as though we're going to get a break as far as rainfall is concerned. The bad thing might be the humidity. It's supposed to be around 100% today, which is really muggy if you're a runner. Winds 6 to 10 miles per hour out of the east, which won't make much difference. The skies are cloudy, and the barometric pressure 29.88 and rising. And I don't think we saw color radar, but clear skies, so it looks like it's going to be clear for at least 2-3 hours or so, enough for the race. Anyway.
Well, early in the week, Ned Permy was telling us it was going to be a beautiful day, and then yesterday it did pour, and we thought it might be drizzling or raining hard today, but we stayed up all night long worrying about it, and here we are. It's a little cloudy today. The humidity might be a problem, though. It's 58 degrees right now, but it could get up to about 70 during the race?
About 70 degrees, and it's climbing high because it was 57 just a couple of hours ago, now 61, so right on up.
If you've never run the Azalea Trail course, we have a map of the course. It's a 10K course, which is 6.2 miles. And Randal, as we look at that map, you want to show it to us? You want to describe it for us?
Yeah, well, the starting line is the intersection of Claiborne and Government Street right there at the Mobile Press Register. The runners will head west to the Cannon at Houston and Government. Then they'll go north on Houston to Dauphin Street. They'll proceed east on Dauphin, back over to Ann Street. They'll head south when they get to Ann Street, back across Government over to Selma Street. Then when they get to Selma, they're heading east. They go to Chatham, then north on Chatham to Washington Square. That's the 5-mile marker. When they get there, it's east on Church Street to Broad Street, then east on Canal to the 6-mile marker, and then north on Claiborne for 0.2 of a mile to the finish line behind the auditorium. The race is 6.2 miles. Good race.
Going to start in about 2.5 minutes, but before the start of that race, we have some cameras out on the course. Jim Shuler at the 1-mile marker is at the intersection of Government and Hallett. And Jim, what does it look like out there?
Well, from my point of view, it looks really good right now. I tell you what, we've got some very attractive Azalea Trail maids here this morning. I don't think they realized that they were on camera when they grabbed me, but we're at Government and George, and you're right, the weather looks great from here. This is the 1-mile marker. There is some traffic still in this area. There's some folks that are gathering around the 1-mile marker. So far, we're just standing here waiting for the race to begin. A lot of race officials, a little bit of confusion and stuff, but we'll send it right back to you, Ron.
Jim, I noticed that at the intersection of Government and Claiborne at the start, they had a truck with azalea bushes. Do you have any azalea bushes out there?
We have a few, but none of them are in bloom yet.
Carlyn Martin is also with us today. She's in front of the Dauphin Way Presbyterian Church at Ann and Dauphin Street. That's about 3.5 miles into the race, and the lead runner should reach Carlyn about 9:17. And Carlyn, what are you doing right now?
Well, right now we're kind of standing out in the street waiting for the police to come down here and block this. We do understand that this intersection here at Dauphin and Ann is supposed to be blocked by the police. I suppose they're waiting until maybe 9 or a little bit after to come down and do that because they don't really expect the runners here for a few minutes. Just like Jim said, we also have race officials here and some Azalea Trail maids to greet the runners. And just up the block there's a water station put out by the Dauphin Way Baptist Church to help out the runners, so we'll be checking with them later on. Ron?
Okay, Carlyn, let's go back now to the starting line because the start of the race is about 1:45 seconds off. You're looking at a shot high above Government Street. We're 1 minute, I'm told, now from the start of the race. That's the intersection of Government and Claiborne in front of the Sheraton. And look at all those runners, Randal.
That is quite amazing. This is the largest Azalea Trail run, I think, out of the 5 or 6 that we've had here in Mobile. And that is quite a sight. Interesting point is the start is a real crucial point of one of these things, because that's a point where a lot of people fall over everybody.
That's right.
It's going to be interesting with this many people to see how they get away from there. And of course, we're looking for a lot of faces in the crowd. And
we have a few faces from TV10 in that crowd too, don't we?
I know Don Schroeder is there, and Robert Fink, our general manager, is there. Alan Green, Jim Garside. Just a host of runners and a lot of big-name people here in the Port City today.
Okay, as Randal said, this is a crucial part of the race. The runners, if you're not familiar with a 10K race, are lined up according to how fast they run the mile. So we do have the faster runners in the front, the slower runners in the back, and that way we try to prevent a lot of people from running over. We're 10 seconds now from the start of this race.
It's time for the countdown now.
It's time for the countdown. Randall's got the clock going. 10 seconds away from the start of the 5th annual Azalea Trail Run. 27% increase this year in the amount of runners, and I might add that they're from 28 states and 59 different countries, and we're just told now the race is being postponed another 60 seconds.
I think they're having a little trouble with the traffic there in the downtown area. There's so many people, and they're trying to get them lined up once again there. And you can see there's quite a few policemen downtown. They've been here since the very wee hours of the morning trying to calm the traffic down, but the crowd like that, I'm sure it takes all you got and more to get them off the street there. As you can see them kind of protruding out on the left side.
Having trouble getting them in the starting blocks, huh?
Yeah.
We might add that there are only 4.5 minutes separating the top 100 male runners in time today, so this should be the most competitive race ever. And you heard the cannon. They didn't quite give us 60 seconds.
Surpriser. It's a pretty start, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a pretty start. The start of these races is always a spectacle to see, and we talked about how 4.5 minutes separated the top 100 male runners. 5 minutes separate the top 60 runners, so this should be the most competitive race ever. We want to run down the past winners. Bill Rogers won the first race ever here in Mobile. That was in 1978. Lisa Seville from the Port City was the first female finisher that year. In 1979, former Olympian Marty LaQuarrie came to town, and he won the race, and Gail Barron was the first female finisher. In 1980, it was Ken Miser and Dolly Harrison. And in 1981, last year, Bill Rogers came back, successfully defended his title. Not only that, he set a record last year. Patty Catalano, the fastest female finisher last year, also set a record. She crossed the finish line in 32 minutes, 32 seconds. Bill Rogers, 29 minutes, 0.2 of a second. And the Masters also set a record last year. That's fellas above 40 years of age. Jim Ewing, 31 minutes, 39 seconds. And the runners are heading west of Government Street now. They're about 400 or 500 yards from the start line. And we're going to cut away for a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to rejoin Jim Shuler, and he should have some of the lead runners coming into his view. Welcome back to It's More Than Just a Race. This is the 5th annual Azalea Trail Run, and just a few seconds ago we saw 4,100 runners head west on Government Street. Jim Shuler is at the 1 mile marker at George and Government Street. And Jim, I understand the runners are coming into your camera sights. What do you see there?
Well, Ron, at this point, we can't see a whole lot yet. Well, of course, we can see the police officers, a lot of sirens, a lot of flashing lights. What looks to be a mass of human beings running down the street toward us, just a solid wall of people. So far, of course, we can't pick out any lead runners, but there's the shot, race fans. Traffic is just now moving out of this area on Government Boulevard on the racetrack, and we still can't make out any of the lead runners.
You at this vantage point, because we're about 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the race. Jim, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We're about 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the race, and how far away from you are the runners?
Okay, we've got runners about 2 blocks away, and they're coming fast.
They're coming fast. I mean, we should see a record maybe today. What do you think?
I would think this the perfect day, because the sun is not too hot, the temperature is low, and that's good for running because you heat up real quick when you're out there running. Plus, pretty clear conditions as far as roads are concerned and everything. I would think this would be a good day to have a fast record, because when Rogers set that record, the day was real similar to this one.
Mm-hmm. The sun isn't out, and you brought up a good point, because it is supposed to be 60 degrees right now, but it doesn't feel like 60. I'm in a sweater and I'm warm-blooded.
Yeah.
But let's go back to Jim Shuler now, because I'm pretty sure he can see the lead runners about a block away. Jim?
Ron, we can just now see the beginning runners here. The lead runners are coming in. It seems like there's a pack of about 20 of them. They're leading everyone else. We do still have kind of a traffic problem here. The police have just got the runners, the traffic out of the way. We've got number 9, number 5, number 3, number 6, and number 2, number 7, and number 1 seem to be among the first top 10 runners here.
Number 9, I know you can't tell from where you are there, your vantage point, but number 9 is Kent McDonald from Metairie, Louisiana, and he is setting the early pace. Fellas, you need to keep your eye on him. Bill Rogers, number 1, Benny G. Durden, number 2, Robbie Perkins, number 3, Terry Baker, number 4, and Dan Dillon, number 8. Kent McDonald, as Jim mentioned, is the lead runner right now. Jim, you're getting a large number of runners coming by your vantage point now.
About 150 runners so far have passed us by. It's one long stream of human beings coming past us. They all look like they're still in very, very good wind. Good enough to yell at us as they pass by.
Did you happen to see Bill Rogers, number 1, as he passed by your mile marker? They're giving the splits out there, and it should have been about 4 minutes and about, 30 seconds, Randall?
Very good time. Did you see the way they were bunched up? I would imagine that'll thin out by at least the next mile. I think those guys are pacing themselves against each other at this point, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's what they do. I talked to Robbie Perkins last night, and he told us that he was going to go off to a very slow start today. As a matter of fact, we do have an interview with Robbie that we did yesterday. He is one of the favorites to win today's race. He's a Duke graduate from around Randall's hometown of Greensboro, North Carolina. And here's what Robbie's race strategy is going to be today.
Right at the start, because I feel like I have better speed than most anyone in the race, and I'll take it down to the last quarter mile if I have to. So my strategy is to sit as long as I can and make my move when I know I can hold it to the finish.
I imagine you were just coming out of high school when Bill Rogers was starting to make a name for himself. Being in a race with a fellow like that, does it mean a lot to you to beat him?
Well, it really does. I've never beaten Bill. I've come very, very close several times. I really would like to catch him.
And he's hoping to beat Bill Rogers today, up from around your hometown, Randall, in Greensboro, North Carolina.
If I'm right, he went to Smith High School up there, too, about the same time I was up there. Real fine fella, too, because I saw the interview. Got to see it here along the finish line now. I'd say it's probably 10, 15,000 people beginning to line up. We're early for a race.
Okay, we have to hit one more commercial. We'll be back and show you some more of this year's race in just a second. Welcome back, everyone. We're about 1.5 miles into the 5th annual Azalea Trail Run, and joining us now, we're very honored to have Bill Squires with us. Bill is a track coach. I guess you're still a track coach. He is a member of the 1984 Olympic Development Team. Also, you're with Team New Balance, and that's why you're in Mobile, and you are Bill Rogers' coach, and you also coached Alberto Salazar.
Yes, I was lucky enough to have those two gentlemen in the early years.
You also coached Dick Beardsley?
Yeah, yes, Dick Beardsley. In fact, Dick is running in Tokyo this afternoon in Beppu, the 30K, and Dick is. We'll see what Dick will do in Boston this year. I think people are going to be a little bit surprised. I think he may do a.
We are told that Robbie Perkins is now leading this race, and Peggy Clear is the leading female so far. What do you know about Robbie Perkins?
Well, Robbie Perkins, actually, I've talked to him. We've gone through training schemes with him over the years. He's a Duke grad. He's represented the United States internationally over the past 6 years. Robbie is a very, very fine track athlete, and he's hit the roads the past 2 or 3 years, and he's done very, very well, up to like, we'll say, 10 miles.
Okay, let's go back to Jim Shuler at the 1 mile marker now, and Jim, you have about half the field by you, I would assume.
Ron, this is just incredible. You saw when the first runners came by this post, we still have a solid wall of human beings coming by us, runners of all sizes and shapes. The first, I'm told the first female runner came by here at around 5:28 into the race. These people, these runners, all are still looking really good. I mean, at this point, I guess we have a lot of the fun runners in, and they seem to be amused by the fact that they're on TV. I mean, these folks are in such good wind that they come by and they're shaking hands and they're saying hi. We just saw TV10's general manager, Bob Fink, run by a minute ago. Here we got a runner wants to talk.
Yes,
He's not too impressed with his time at this point, I guess, huh?
I'm beating my best time ever. 10 minutes a mile, right? It's great.
All right, good luck to you. Okay. Who was that unidentified runner, Ron?
I don't know, but Don Schroeder just went by, so we know that he's alive and well at the 1 mile marker. And Bill Squires, about 4 minutes, 25 seconds at first split. Close to that, you would think?
I would have thought they would have hit that, but I understand they went a little bit slower. And what's happening now? It's a watch and see. The weather, we feel it's we think it's ideal, but it's the humidity, and it may be a little bit heavier. The air might be a little bit heavier than they'd like. But now, who you had, the person that they claimed it was Kent McDonald, who was is a fine steeplechaser out of Kansas and has a lot of speed tools. But he's still just holding it back. It's going to be the last 3 miles. We'll see it move.
Okay, we're about 11 minutes into the race, so I assume they're well past the 2-mile marker now. Let's talk about one of the top female runners in the country today who is in today's race, Brenda Webb. She's generally recognized as the female to beat today. I talked with Brenda about her involvement in racing and if more women were becoming involved in the sport.
Yes, I think more and more women are becoming involved in running just through the college programs and through high school programs, and then as women and girls start to graduate from college, they continue to run because there's more opportunities, more races for women, and it just continues to snowball, and so there are a lot of women involved.
Whatever got you into running, and why do you compete as a runner?
A lot of my friends were running track, and they were going places on the weekends that sounded very exciting, and so I was interested, and they asked me to join, so I tried, and I had a little bit of success at the beginning, and so I continued, and then I started setting bigger and bigger goals for myself, and I'm still trying to reach some of them now, and that's why I'm out here today.
Just work it here.
Okay, the lead runners should be well past the 2-mile marker now. Let's go to Carlyn Martin. She's at the intersection of Dauphin and Ann Street, and she's about 3.5 miles into the race. And Carlyn, can you see anybody there?
No, we're straining. We're looking down Dauphin Street. We do not see anybody except for a few police officers way down there. We just have gotten rid of all the traffic here at this corner, and they have finally blocked us off here, but we're still waiting. We do not see anyone here. There are a lot of people who are waiting here with us at this intersection, race officials, anxious people here waiting to cheer on the runners, as you can see them there, standing by, police officers. So we are still waiting. Dauphin Street looks like it does about 3 o'clock in the morning last time I saw it. So hopefully they have gotten all the traffic cleared out now, and we're just standing by waiting to see them.
Okay, at the 2-mile marker, Benji Durden was the leader. His split there was 9 minutes and 9 seconds. And Bill, is that going to be a record today, do you think, or is he a little off the pace?
They're off pace. Knowing Benji now will start doing the work. He doesn't have great finish speed, so this is good. If Benji's in the lead, he's starting to start the surging early, and
force everybody else to keep up with him.
And what'll happen will be we should know by about and he's got to do his damage by 4 miles. He's got to have probably a lead of a few yards.
Okay, runner's high, what is it and when does it occur? Well, you won't find it happening in today's 10K race, but if you're interested in long distance running, you'll want to pay attention to this report by Alan Green, who's in the race today.
To non-runners, we runners must seem a strange lot. We drag ourselves out of nice warm beds at 5:30 in the morning just to go out and punish our bodies. Why do we do it? Well, most of us give the usual stock answers, how it's good for the heart, the lungs, just about all parts of the body. But probably the bottom line for most experienced runners is that it feels good. But running is a physical activity, physical exertion. Anyone who's ever tried running knows that it's hard work. So where does the fun come in? Well, most runners can tell you about a stretch of running where the level of exertion is almost nil, where they feel they can run forever. A runner's high.
Well, it's just to a point that you're just running and you just relax and, you have nothing to worry about. It seems like all your problems go away and, and you're running pain-free and all. It just sort of trip out, I guess you'd say.
Yes, I do get a good feeling from running. I don't know if I'd say that it's synonymous with a high that you get from maybe drinking alcohol or anything, but it is a good feeling.
There is even some medical evidence that a runner's high truly exists. Dr. Ken Ellingwood.
There are a series of chemical compounds that are increased with running and that specifically act on the brain in certain regions. The endorphin is an opiate-like compound chemically, and it's been postulated that the high that runners get is due to the fact that there is increased circulating levels of this endorphin opiate-like compound.
Still, the physical evidence of a runner's high is not conclusive. It only occurs after a long period of running, but not always. There's no way to predict it. Some runners aren't even sure it exists.
I think I agree mainly with what Jim Fix says, is it's really compared to a non-runner's low.
I enjoy running so much, and I believe that running just makes me feel good generally all the time. There's, I believe, a misconception that runners perhaps levitate or reach an emotional or spiritual high.
But whatever its form, there's definitely something that makes these people run. Alan Green for the Azalea Trail Run.
Okay, the runners have just crossed the 3-mile mark just a few seconds ago. We understand Dan Dillon is leading, Robbie Perkins is second, Benji Durden third. Let's go to Carlyn Martin now. She's about 3.5 miles into the race, and the runners should be coming into her view. Carlyn? Okay, we're going to check in with Carlyn in just a second. Once again, the runners are approaching Carlyn Martin. She's at Ann and Dauphin Street in front of the Dauphin Way Baptist Church, and we're going to break away for just 60 seconds. When we come back, we'll go to Carlyn Martin. Okay, you're looking at Benji Durden as he leads this race, and he just turned a split time in the 3 miles, 13:33, didn't he?
Right, real fine time, and Perkins is hounding him. Now he's got to break Perkins because Perkins is that fast. And Perkins has run a 4:01 mile when he was in college, and Benji's best was like 4:13. But Benji's got the strength as when, Here's Barry Brown going by.
Barry Brown just went by. Carlyn Martin, you're at the 3.5 mile marker, and have you seen Brenda Webb come by yet? Because she is running away from the pack as far as the females are concerned.
No, not so far, Don. Ron, they were looking for Don. Don Schroeder assured me he'd be in the lead runners here. I haven't seen him so far either. But no, Ron, we haven't seen Brenda Webb just yet. You've seen pretty much everybody that we have come by here. They look like they're in pretty good shape running by. Of course, I guess this is nothing new for these people who are racing in a race this long.
Carlyn, how about Bill Rogers? He's number 1. Did you see Bill? We didn't get to see him on our monitor here.
To tell you the truth, they were kind of bunched up when they came by. I did not actually see him.
In the packet of 3.
Lewis Kinney, number 5, just went by us there. No, I have not actually seen Bill Rogers. That's not to say that he's not here, though. Hasn't gone by.
We had Benji Durden, number 2, and Robbie Perkins, number 3. They were neck and neck, and then we had a pack of runners that probably was Terry Baker and Dan Dillon and Bill Rogers in that second group. And you tell me Brenda Webb is on a record pace for the women today, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I kind of think that, and we find that the women will hit a record pace when the male athletes are moving. What'll happen is they're being pulled along by the other males and this is it. If Webb, the one thing with Webb is right now she'll be going to have to push heavy because she's doing it by herself. Where you have Perkins, the Perkins Durden encounter. So.
Okay, we have a change in the lead right now. They're at the 4-mile marker. They just passed the 4-mile marker, the lead runners, and we have Robbie Perkins is once again leading, and I assume Benji. Okay, 18:16, which that puts him 4 seconds under, doesn't it? So we could see a record here today, couldn't we, Bill?
Sure could.
Okay, we have the 4-mile marker right here. And as we said, we could see a record here today, couldn't we, Bill?
I'll tell you what. Perkins, if I know Robbie will start gunning because he knows he's got at least 10 to 15 yards over the second packet, and in the second packet he has to watch out for Danny Dillon. Danny is probably
the water buffalo, huh? Isn't that what they call him?
Oh, they do. He gets his name because he can run in all kinds of terrain and weather. He's an international cross-country type athlete. In fact, he'll be representing our country next week in Rome.
Okay, Randal Smith is down now at the finish line, and Randal's going to talk with Richmond Brown and find out how in about 8 or 9 minutes we're going to get all of these runners down the chutes. Randal?
That's right, Ron. 8-9 minutes from now, this is going to be a busy place because we're standing here at the finish line. With me, Richmond Brown, who just kind of directs the finish line here. Richmond, I want to know, you got lanes that are 4 feet wide each, and you got 4,000 runners coming at you. How do you single file them and shoot them down the chutes there without them falling over each other?
Okay, the first process, approximately 200 feet up the course, we direct them to one side of the street or the other. And from there, then we direct them into individual chutes. And we have attendants down the lane to make sure they come down single file, and we try to maintain that order throughout the chute.
How can you tell the difference between who's number 1, number 2, number 3 when they come in bunched up together like that?
Well, that is determined at the back of the chute by using a barcode, and we put the barcodes in sequence.
And this is a computer system, right?
Computer determines that.
Is this a first for Mobile? Is this the first time we've used this?
No, this is we've used a computer system for 4 years.
And the computer system also puts the times and everything of the runners on there, too.
Well, we time them at the finish line, and then those times are given to the computer people, and they put it into their equipment, and they match them up with the finishers.
Oh, I get the impression then that the finish line is one of the smoothest parts of this race here.
Well, we'll wait and see.
Okay, well, we certainly hope so. Ron, like we said, 7 or 8 minutes from now, they're going to be finishing up here at the finish line, and Mobile people have it under control. We'll go back up to you.
Well, let's hope so. They sure do a fine job at this race every year. You're looking at the runners at about 3.5 miles into the race at Ann and Government Streets. And when we come back, we may be able to see some of the lead runners heading down Canal Street. First, we're going to break away for this 60-second break. Okay, you're looking at the 3.5 mile marker at Dauphin and Ann Streets, and we're told now that Brenda Webb, her split time at 4 miles was 21 minutes and 12 seconds. That's pretty good time, isn't it, Bill Squires?
Very good, very good. She's doing a great job. She's holding her own, and let's hope. I think the men are going to start to slow down a little bit. I think they burned a little from the 2nd mile to the 4th mile, and now I notice a tendency that they are building up for the finish or holding themselves. We're
still going to see a sprint maybe at the finish between Durden and Perkins.
I would think that Durden will have to make it in the last 3/4 of a mile. I think that he will have to just.
March 6, 1982, Bill Rogers comes from behind to set a new course record in winning his 3rd Azalea Trail run. Rogers is back to defend his title this year, but he'll be challenged by 9 of the top runners in the Southeast. Sue King is the highest-ranked local runner. She's seated 3rd in the women's division.